Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Center for the Arts at the University at Buffalo. At this time, we ask you to please silence all cell phone and other electronic devices. Please note the nearest emergency exit, keeping in mind the nearest exit may be behind you. In the event of an emergency, please listen to the directions via this public address system. The University at Buffalo is committed to providing a healthy, comfortable, and safe environment for its students, faculty, staff, and visitors. As a result, smoking is prohibited throughout the university, both indoors and outdoors. We kindly ask that you please refrain from smoking while on campus. And now, please stand, keeping the aisles clear, and welcome this year's graduating class.
Good afternoon. My name is Terry Budak, and I serve as the Associate Director in the Intercultural and Diversity Center here at UB, and I'm thrilled to open this year's ceremony. At this time, I'd like to ask all the guests to please rise for the standing of our national anthem, which will be led by the University at Buffalo's Gospel Choir.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Please be seated. Welcome to the 21st Annual ALANA Celebration of Achievement. I'd like to welcome our esteemed platform guests, SUNY UB Councilmember Mrs. June Hayflick, President Tripathi, Vice President for Student Life, Dr. Weber, Vice Provost Dr. Stott, Vice Provost Miller, and all our distinguished platform guests. Thank you for joining us here today, and thank you to the faculty, staff, families, and friends who are here to celebrate this weekend. And of course, our celebration would not mean anything without you, our graduates. You are the focus and the purpose of this very special day, and it is my honor to host this event and to acknowledge your accomplishments. We are pleased to offer this opportunity for you and your families and friends, as well as the UB community, to come together and share with you the joys of your academic achievements. So please, take time to enjoy this moment, take in all of the excitement, and most importantly, be proud of your success. Now it is my pleasure to invite President Tripathi to open our celebration with his opening remarks.
Good afternoon. I'm delighted to be here with you. Before we begin, I would like to take a moment to express my heartfelt thanks to all the family members, friends, and mentors who have supported our graduates. The milestone we are celebrating today would not have happened without the important role you played in guiding our students. And of course, I want to congratulate all of you, the class of 2017. Today we celebrate and recognize all that you have accomplished as UB students, and we eagerly look forward to your promising future as UB alumni. Our university community has benefited greatly from the breadth and depth of your intellectual contributions, as well as the range of perspectives and experiences you have brought to campus. Outside the classroom, you have been dedicated to building a campus community that embraces open and honest conversation. In doing so, you have shared new ideas, a dynamic intellectual and cultural exchange, and thoughtful collaborations with your peers. These experiences will prove essential in your personal and professional pursuits, and they will no doubt have an impact on the significant contributions you will make for the greater public good. We are proud of all you have accomplished at UB. We are grateful for the dedicated leadership you have demonstrated, and we are eager to see where your bright futures take you as UB alumni. You are the leaders of tomorrow. Many thanks for all that you have contributed, and all the best for your continued success. And once again, congratulations to class of 2017.
Good afternoon. Congratulations, class of 2017. That's right. Thank you, President Tripathi. My name is Dr. Tracy P. Johnson, and I am the Assistant Vice Provost for Undergraduate Education within Cora P. Maloney College. I'm also the Director of the Arthur O. Eve Educational Opportunity Program here at the University at Buffalo. EOP. That's right. As tradition for the ALANA celebration, we select 2 students to be our class speaker. And it is my honor and pleasure to introduce our very first speaker, Yanava Hawkins. Mostly known in the UB community as Navi. Come on over here. Was born and raised in Buffalo in the house. She has earned her social science interdisciplinary degree with a double major in mental health and health and human services with concentrations in communication. Navi is currently serving a year with AmeriCorps as the community engagement specialist at Gateway Longview, serving children and families in poverty. Let's show her some love.
Good afternoon, everyone. That was really dry, but. All right. Will SUNY UB Councilmember June Hayflick, President Tripathi, Dr. Weber, Dr. Stott, distinguished platform's guests, family, friends, and most importantly, the 2017 graduating class. I'm honored to be here, standing before you all this morning, to share and reflect on experiences encountered during our time here at UB. We have all dealt with different individual experiences, but as a group sitting here in this auditorium this morning, we have overcome these situations, and as a result, they have made us stronger than we ever were before. While I may not know a lot of you personally and don't know your specific trials and tribulations that you have endured in these 4 years, I can confidently stand up here and tell you that you are stronger than you were coming into college. And that is something to definitely be proud of. Between balancing a heavy course load, learning math from a professor that may not fluently speak your language, having 3 exams back-to-back in one day, standing in the pistachios line for an hour, and try to get to class and then south for a party takes a lot. But guess what? You did it, we did it. College is hard, no matter what your major is. But as students of color, we not only carry the load of college on our backs, but also the civil and political issues around the world tend to add some weight. We had to endure daily battles that not all college students will suffer. From unarmed black men and women being gunned down left to right, to Black Lives Matter protests and riots all over the country, to white-only signs being placed right here on our campus. It is not about color. It is not about color, but it is about the principle. It is difficult to attend a school with students and faculty that do not look like you, but it's more than just skin deep. Being taught by someone that cannot connect with you and understand you adds a certain barrier that some students will never have to imagine. But guess what? We do it every single day. And by the looks of it, we did a pretty good job of fighting through it because we are sitting here today. I'll be honest with you, UB was not my first choice school. I applied to UB as a backup just in case I didn't get into Howard University. I did get into Howard University, but needless to say, I did not attend. At the time, I was heartbroken that I could not attend my dream school due to finances and family obligations, but now, standing here on this stage today, I am pleased with the path that life has taken. During my college search, I realized that many of my peers were choosing schools based on academic performance, tuition, athletic division, and location. But as a high school senior, I just wanted to attend a big, diverse college. I thought Howard was a perfect fit. There must be tons of diversity at an HBCU. I attended a PWI for high school, and so I couldn't wait to finally be surrounded by educated individuals that look like me. Now, looking back at my time at UB, I don't think I would have ever been exposed to this level of diversity at any other institution. UB has such an immense emphasis on diversity, and I'm so happy that I made the decision to attend the University at Buffalo. After the first couple of months my freshman year, I realized that it was hard not to get involved because UB offers so many great opportunities. As an athlete coming out of high school, I made up my mind that I would not play at the collegiate level. My father and coaches did not understand that logic, but I wanted to open my eyes to new opportunities, since at that time all I knew was sports. After a long night of thinking, I convinced myself to try out as a walk-on for the softball team. So I went to this tryout hoping that I wouldn't make it, just to satisfy the wants other people had for me, instead of worrying about what made me happy. I made the team. There was a moment of pure joy when I first received the news because I was able to call and tell my father and coach that I made the team. But after those conversations, I just broke down in tears. I didn't only break down because I had workouts at 7 a.m., but because it was the moment I realized that I was living someone else's dream instead of my own. As the only woman of color on the team, I had this driving force that was telling me to push through and represent for the women athletes of color. But after several long weeks of dealing with feelings of isolation from teammates, I made up my mind that it was not worth it. I was mentally, emotionally, and physically drained. When I left the team and broke the news to my parents, my mother was very optimistic and supportive of my decision, whereas my father had a hint of disappointment in his voice. But it was time for me to see what else UB had to offer, as well as test my talents and abilities. Quitting that D1 team was just closing one door and opening another. 2 weeks later, I ended up trying out for the step team here at UB. And I was on the team all 4 years and ended as the vice president. And last year, I founded and am now the head coach of the UB Club softball team. I would not be in the position that I am right now if it weren't for that decision I made freshman year. Every decision you make will be a learning experience, and I thank UB for providing us with opportunities to make both inside and outside the classroom a learning experience. Many people would call us the minority in this school. I completely disagree. The word minority is described as less dominant than the majority, and believe me, that is not the case. We are all strong, educated graduates of various backgrounds, and we will now enter the world with the mindset that we can do anything, because that's what UB has taught us. A lot of us, including myself, didn't know if this very moment would be possible. But as a first-generation graduate, I am proud to say that it is. I had many doubts during my time here at UB about how I was going to pay tuition and if I was really doing what I love to do. But thanks to my family, I was able to put those doubts behind me and stand in front of you all today and tell my story. I finished my coursework in December 2016 after completing an extra semester to finish up my major in communications. I remember my father kept asking me why I wasn't participating in the May 2016 ceremony, and I just kept telling him that I wanted to be completely finished before I celebrated. 2 months later, my father suffered a severe heart attack and passed away. This was a very difficult time for me, but after all the triumph I have dealt with in the past, I just continued to grow another layer of strength and was able to complete my last semester on the Dean's List, and now I am currently serving a year with AmeriCorps to help children and families in need. I would like to end my speech with a quote from my mother: "Life, the art of drawing without an eraser." I can't take back any of my experiences of the past, but I can use them to my advantage and learn from them and grow, because that's what life's all about, growth. Now that we are entering a new phase in life, we are just planting another seed, and I can't wait to watch us grow.
Thank you, Nava. The words are very inspiring. Hello, everyone. My name is Tom Taberry. I'm the Director of Campus Life. Each year, we welcome student groups that perform, and I'm excited, really excited, to introduce some great UB entertainment. Please give an energetic welcome to UB's Latin American Student Association and the Filipino American Student Association.
One last round of applause for our student performers. Good afternoon. My name is Terry Miller, and I am the Vice Provost for Equity and Inclusion here at UB, as well as a faculty member within the UB Law School. It is my honor to introduce our second student speaker, Deidre Goldborn. Deidre is a passionate student senator and multifaceted student leader here at the University of Buffalo. Since arriving at UB, she has used her voice as a proponent for change and outlet for true diversity and inclusion. She has served as a teaching assistant where she used her African American Studies and History majors to mentor fellow students. Outside of the classroom, she has been an advocate for people of color in our community as a former historian, vice president, and president of the Black Student Union. Deidre has spent countless hours in my office expressing her faith in our commitment at UB to equity, diversity, and inclusion, and in turn, her dedication to making sure we live up to that. So please join me in welcoming Deidre to the podium to share her reflections and faith and her thoughts with you today.
Yeah. All right, so now that we broke the ice. Good afternoon, UB Council Member, Ms. June Hayflick, President Tripathi, Dr. Weber, Dr. Stott, Vice Provost Miller, esteemed platform guests, family, friends, and graduates. Go ahead, clap for yourself. Clap for yourself. As a queer woman of color, I stand in front of you in a predicament. I am at a loss of words, which for those that know me, know this is unfamiliar territory. As people of color, we have been tested throughout history, and each of our transgressions have made us the headstrong people we are today. This era feels slightly different, though. In our country today, the conversations we must facilitate and be prepared to have are some of the most trying tests of sanity, empathy, and compassion. Politically, civically, and socially, we are in a chapter in history that will be shaped off of our ability to listen, understand, and develop as a nation. Many of the issues we face presently were not always problems and conversations we encountered when coming to the University at Buffalo 4 long years ago. As a West Indian-raised African-American child, growing up on Long Island, 516-631, it was embedded in me from a very young age that we must work twice as hard to achieve what is necessary for us to progress. My mother, Waveney Goldborn, who studied and graduated here from the University at Buffalo's School of Management, laid the foundation of discipline and hard work. My mother commonly spoke of the hardships she faced, not only being an international student adjusting to life in America, but also as a Black woman who was commonly judged by the color of her skin. My mother and father, who attended and met at UB, never pressured me to attend any college or discouraged me from picking a major of my choice, and contrary to most West Indian parents. I came to the University at Buffalo bright-eyed and willing to take on the world on August 22nd, 2013. As a student athlete my freshman year, I enjoyed learning how to juggle being a student and an athlete every day while running from Alumni Arena to Knox Hall with a protein shake, my books, and my throwing shoes in my hands. One of the moments that shaped my desire to have more in-depth conversations regarding race and class was the debate that was held in the shot put circle. My fellow white teammates stated to me that as a white person in America under President Obama, they had it hard. A perspective I was never exposed to. They shared their inaccurate opinions on affirmative action and the state of our country. As the only black child and the angry black woman in the group, how could I speak proudly about my blackness while at the same time address the microaggressions we all as people of color face on a daily basis? We as a university pride ourselves on our diversity, but what are we doing as a whole to respect and truly understand the differences of those that walk beside us daily? I eventually joined the Black Student Union, thanks, Jalissa, in hopes of finding a space here on campus that I could speak on the issues that many of us face. I found a place where I could be unapologetically black and use the pedagogy I was learning in my African/African American studies and history majors to educate the students on this campus about the particular intersectional issues that black people, as well as people of color, encounter in the world. We are all aware of the hardships we face as students on campus, running out of dining dollars towards the end of the semester and having to rummage through bowls of cereal and ramen, spending endless nights in the library wondering why we just didn't start our assignments days, weeks, months before the due date. On August 6, 2014, my life changed in a way I cannot even fully describe in front of you today. My mother, who raised me to be the woman I am today, passed away from complications from her autoimmune disease, scleroderma. At the time, I was preparing to move into my first apartment, about to begin my sophomore year, and my life took a turn in a direction I was not prepared for. Moments like this truly show you how strong you are and the importance of a good foundation. My executive board, friends, and family all provided me with unconditional love and support during this period as I searched for meaning and understanding of the events that transpired. There were times that I needed personal days, an exception from a professor, and guidance when it seemed like all was lost. I could imagine that these are very similar feelings to many of us during our time here. So how does one bounce back from hardship? How do we embrace and embody the trials and tribulations we face here during our time here, In an era where alternative facts, public shaming, and bigotry are accepted on a large scale, how can we continue to feel safe? No amount of fake news and tweets can provide us with a plausible answer. So we have to set the facts straight ourselves. Fact, Black Lives Matter is not saying that all lives don't matter. It's saying that systematically, institutionally, historically, black people I got you. I'm gonna say it again. All right. Fact. Black Lives Matter is not saying that all lives don't matter. It is saying that systematically, institutionally, and historically, black people are oppressed due to their color, traits, and the color of their skin. I ain't done yet. I ain't done yet. We are commonly racially profiled, judged, and sadly more commonly killed for facilitating ourselves in the only ways we know how, as ourselves. I stand in solidarity with you. All right. Fact, Latinx and Hispanic Americans are not all Mexicans. Let's set the story straight. They are part of a culturally diverse set of countries spanning from Central America to the Caribbean. They are not all illegal because no one person can be illegal. I stand in solidarity with you. Fact, Muslim Americans in this country are not terrorists. As a student of religion, Islam, when translated, means peace. As a woman who speaks Arabic, to all my Muslim, Middle Eastern, and Arabic-speaking counterparts, salam. I stand in solidarity with you. Fact, Native Americans are the foundation of America's history and story. They are not caricatures to be made into costumes. They have the right to their land that has always been theirs. Clean water, respect. I stand in solidarity with you. For all of those who I may not have mentioned but are oppressed, I stand in solidarity with you. As various groups of people of color, I hope that moving forward, we realize and understand the differences that each of us embody. I also hope that those who are not people of color seek to fully understand the dangers of stereotypes, generalizations, and will stop viewing differences as just adding pieces to the melting pot. We must maintain our unique differences as a tossed salad, especially since it's healthier for us. When various different countries showcase their talents at an international fiesta, the differences must be recognized. When the African Student Association has long-winded debates about if Ghanaian jollof or Nigerian jollof is better, the differences must be recognized. The recognition of our diversity is what will soon make us proud graduates of UB. So to the class of 2017, as we begin to close one of the hardest chapters of our lives, how will we start the next one? How will our lives post-grad work out? Will we get the job? Will we get into the university of our choosing? Will we ever find our way out of this predicament regarding our current climate? My answer in summary is, I'm not sure, and that's okay. What I can say is that during our time here at the University at Buffalo, we have been prepared, and we must believe in ourselves and take the next step with tenacity and resilience. Coming from a student who had to learn how to become independently disciplined after losing the woman that motivated me every day, I challenge everyone to learn where your passion lies, and then you must go after it. To quote one of my favorite African-American politicians, the late, great Shirley Chisholm, if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and congratulations to our graduates, class of 2017. My name is Scott Weber. I serve as the Vice President for Student Life here at the University of Buffalo, and I'm so proud of all our graduates and all that you've accomplished. I'm always inspired, especially when I compliment our student speakers. They were terrific. It's my distinct pleasure and honor to introduce our keynote speaker, Vice Provost Lee Melvin. He is responsible for leading, developing, articulating, and implementing the most important part, an enrollment management strategy with the primary vision of maintaining academic momentum here at the university and moving UB to higher levels of institutional distinction. Mr. Melvin is a member of numerous professional and national organizations, including the National Association of College Admission Counseling, the American Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admission Officers, and the Coalition for Access, Affordability, and Success, and finally, the National Association of Graduate Enrollment Management. And I'm super proud that I was able to convince him to come to the University at Buffalo and serve in this role. So give it up for Vice Provost Lee Melvin. Lee.
Scott, thanks for that generous introduction. And Scott is one of the people, well, actually the person that recruited me here to the University of Buffalo. I was serving in a similar role at Cornell before arriving to UB. And Scott told me I'd have a lot more fun here at UB. And over the last 4 years, it has been a blast. So thank you very much for this opportunity. This is my first ALANA celebration here, and so I was happy to get the invitation, so thank you very much. And congratulations to the class of 2017. You deserve a round of applause. Great work on your end. Again, let me bring greetings to President of the University, President Tripathi, our Honorable Council member, for joining us along with our great platform party here. Our UB faculty and staff, I see that are volunteering to assist with the program, along with our visiting guests, and of course, our wonderful graduates. It really is an honor to be standing here in front of you to just share a couple of words of wisdom and advice as you prepare to make that next journey in your life. I thought I'd start with just a little context of who I am, and then I'm going to move on to some other parts to this, and it won't be long. But like many of you, I have a story as well, and how I got to this role, and what led me to want to pursue education, and then pursue encouraging students like you to go on to college, complete your degrees, and move on and make an impact into the world. I grew up in a small town in Florida, South Florida. If you go to Miami, keep driving south and you might hit my town once you get off the freeway. It's called Florida City, Florida. We always joke that it was the last city, so they just named it Florida City, Florida, because they ran out of names, because it's a big state. There were 7 of us in the household as far as kids, and so a 2-parent household. Sometimes we wondered if my dad was part of the family, but he was there, but it was a 2-parent household. Low-income family. Then when I decided to go to college with my brothers and sisters, as I said, it was 7 of us. They always called me the only child because that's how I acted, because I was the only child, because I would regularly tell my parents, if you only had 3 of us, we'd have a lot more money, and that would be a lot of fun. But that wasn't occurring. But I decided to go to college. I was first generation in college. Many of you may have been first generation, so congratulations for going through there. And for any student that's first generation, we know that's a different type of environment for us. But I went from Florida to Texas to go to school. I knew I wanted to go away from home because I knew if I stayed home, my parents had rules where if you're in the house, you work, you pay a bill. And so how do you go to college and do all of that? So I figured I would go and try for the real college experience, and that's what I wanted. So I left and went to school in Texas. I studied music education. For those of you that are in education and music, I studied music education because I had a scholarship. I was very good at music, and so and part was the education side, and so that paid for my college education. I went from Houston Baptist University to Peabody Conservatory at Johns Hopkins because I had decided I was going to be an opera singer. And I was pretty good at singing. I did gospel singing, but also I studied singing in college. I was winning a lot of contests, getting roles, decided I was going to move and stay into the world of opera. And then from there, I found a teacher at the University of Michigan by the name of George Shirley. George Shirley was the first black tenor to sing a major leading role at the Met. And so I wanted to go and study with him because I wanted to sound like him, a wonderful, wonderful man. And I finally found a person that I could call my teacher. And so for those of you that are working with your faculty, I hope you'll go back and thank the people that really made an impact in your life, but particularly our faculty members that have paid attention to you and encourage you. So from there, I continued in music, and then I had this crossroad. It was stay in music or go into college administration. And I was a finalist with the University of Chicago Opera Company for an report they call the apprentice role. And when I didn't get that job, I said, well, I'm going to stick with my college admissions job, and then I want to be at the top of my field. And now I find myself here at the University at Buffalo, which is really, in our role, this is the top of our field, and it's been quite a wonderful journey working at different types of institutions and meeting all these different people around the country. So I'm going to move on and wrap up in a few minutes here, but today what I want to do is share a very personal story with you. But before I share the story, I do want to thank our student speakers who were just fantastic. They're really just outstanding. And as I listened to their stories, we have some things in common. We did not collude on this, so this is really just how it turned out today. We're all talking about our mothers. And because we just passed Mother's Day, to all the mothers out there, happy Mother's Day. And I hope you enjoyed it, so you deserve it. Dads, your day comes soon, but you got another month or so before we jump into that. But again, I really connected with the students when they talked about their parents and how important they are in their life. And I did get permission from my mom before I shared this letter, because this is what I want to leave you with is a letter to my mom for Mother's Day. Dear Mom, I hope this letter finds you happy and comfortable. Don't forget, my birthday is just around the corner, and all I desire is for your continued, unyielding love and support. Oh, and a big cake with caramel frosting. As I reflect on my 54 years in this world, there's no doubt in my mind or heart that I owe my success in life in a major way to your wise advice, your kind guidance, your strong will, and your perseverance in trying times, and for sharing real-world lessons and experiences to prepare me for my journey in life. You instilled in me the importance of being honest. That old saying, "The truth will set you free," was clearly what I had in mind as a young man on the day that I announced to you that I am gay. My honesty spared a good high school friend from being encouraged to marry a man under the cloud of a lie. Your response to my announcement was just as honest. "Honey, I don't know how much hurt you will experience, but I'm going to pray for you to find happiness, and I will pray for me to find acceptance and understanding." You taught me to persevere and to follow my dreams. I would ask why you allowed me to have so many different jobs as a teenager, and you responded, "So you would know what you don't want to do for the rest of your life." I recall sharing that I plan on running for vice president of my high school student body, and you asked, "Why do you want to be number 2? So I returned to school the next day and told my running mate, "My mom said you would make a better vice president than me, and we should switch positions on the ticket." I always dreamed of going to college, and you and Dad encouraged me to pursue my passions in life and to always reach higher in my chosen profession. You were always kind to others with much less than us, even though we had very little, and you insisted that we treat people with courtesy and respect. You always said good manners and respecting others will take you a long way in life. Mom, your words of advice and wisdom were right on target. My life has been peppered by practicing what I was taught to be an honest person, act on my dreams, conduct myself as a person with manners, and showing others respect. I had not envisioned how my life would change by practicing those simple words of advice. Now, before I close with my letter here, students and our graduates, I want to share some advice with you. And you're going to hear this from several over the next couple of days, and I hope you will find time in your life to step back and write a thank you letter to your mom and or your father. One word of advice, call and visit your parents often. Yes, they were happy to see you go to college. They may have changed your room into the sewing room or something, but they really are excited to hear from you. I know mine is every time I go and visit her. She always says it's the best visit ever, and so I appreciate that. Live life as a citizen of this world. Do not paint yourself in this box. Go visit our beautiful country, visit other countries, learn about other cultures, learn to accept others who are different from you, and learn to embrace the life that you can enjoy in this world. I encourage you to build wealth and share your good fortunes with those less fortunate. It's okay to make money. It's okay to give back. It's okay to pull someone up and to help them. It's okay to set a foundation. These are things you can do regardless of what your income is. You can make a difference in someone else's life because you have wealth and you've earned that. So make sure you turn around and help others. Embrace a life partner. For many of us, you may live alone for the rest of your life, but if you can find a life partner, I did. I have a wonderful husband. We've been together 19 years, and so it's fantastic. And I'll tell you, my mother did find acceptance, and she found that the comfort that she needed. She danced at our wedding the entire night with a bad hip, a bad knee, a bad back. But that night, she was feeling good. It must have been the punch. So we'll see how she is. And then finally, students, live strong so others can succeed. We have students that are younger than you. The next generation is following you. And I encourage you to be strong for them so they can emulate your behavior, your actions, your words, your thinking, what you write, and what opinions you share with others, because they're always watching. So please live strong. Now back to the closing for my letter from my mother. Mom, because of you, I have a great life. Because of you, I have a wonderful marriage. Because of you, I love my career. Because of you, I had the opportunity to go to college and expand my horizons. Because of you, I'm fortunate that I can just be me. I love you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day. Congratulations, graduates. Enjoy a rewarding, impactful, and beautiful life. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.